Hello and welcome to module number 3 for RTVB 1302 Computer Apps for Media Production. Okay, so today's module, what we will be doing is creating a basic edit, or we should say a rough cut, for the Red Door Pantry project. So I have here the assignment pulled up in front of us, and just to go over this real quick, so we're going to be making a rough cut, and just generally for this assignment you need to include one version of each shot, select the take that you like the best, really try to sequence these shots in a way that they help tell the story the commercial intended. So your finished video can be anywhere from 15 to 45 seconds, and it should contain no sound. No sound on this version. You're going to export all of this as an MP4 file. We'll go through how to do that. And this is something that you'll be doing a lot in this class, and that is you're going to be working with YouTube. So working with YouTube is an important skill to know how to do if you're going to work in media production. So if you don't already have a personal YouTube channel, you need to go ahead and make one, because you will be submitting your work through YouTube. So you're going to be uploading this assignment to YouTube, and then you'll be submitting a link to that. Okay, so what I want to do now is show you what this commercial roughly should look like. So this is an example edit, and I will play it for you.
You ever wonder how you can help a neighbor in need? Making sure they have enough to eat is a good place to start. The Red Door Food Pantry. Take what you need. Give what you can.
Okay, so that is the edit, and that's what we're going to be trying to do. So again, we are just doing a rough version of this, and let's get started. So I'm picking up right where we left off, and we have our project open here, and we have all of our bins that we created, and I do not have my proxies engaged right now. I don't really need to for this project, but if my computer does start running slow, I promise you I will turn those on. So where to begin? What I'm going to do first is I'm just going to take this sequence that I already created, and I'm just going to work with that. I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to delete these clips. And then I'm going to go through and look at my footage. So you should have already looked at your footage one time and picked out the clips that you liked. And let's see here. So I'm going to go through, and this is the previous in and out that I selected. I just want to look to see if there's another version. I'm just scrubbing through here real quick. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm just backing up. And what I'm doing, I'm just holding down the playhead marker, and I am just dragging it around, okay? So I think I'm just going to put an N right there by pressing I. Okay. And press an O right there. So I have an in and an out right here. Now, before I go through and just start putting all of these down into my timeline, what I think I want to do is show you how to make something called a subclip. So let's pretend that this clip had numerous takes that I liked in here, or there were several things in here that I wanted to use. And I wanted to go through and identify all of these things at once, but I needed to actually kind of start to name these and organize them. You can do that through a subclip. So to make one, I'm just going to right click on this clip, and I'm going to select Make Subclip. And it's going to allow me to name it. Alright, so this is, by default, it takes whatever name that you have given it, and then on the end of it, it puts subclip, and then I've already tested this out once, so this is 002. I'm just going to leave that. If I click this box right here, if I check that box, restrict times to subclip boundaries, what it will not allow me to do is modify this after the fact. So I typically don't like to leave this checked. I leave that unchecked in case I need to tweak the in or the out a little bit. Once I actually start editing, I can do that. Again, if you have that checked, you're stuck with your selection. So no reason to be stuck. And I'm going to click OK. And when I do, see what happens. It makes a subclip right here for me. Okay, so that's great. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to select the other piece of footage that we used before. I'm just making some quick selections here. Okay. This one actually looks a little bit better. It's a little bit more smooth. Okay, and then again, I'm going to come up here and click on my master clip again, or my clip, my original clip, I should say. And I'm going to right click again. I'm going to click Make Subclip. Okay, and it made me another subclip. So now I have two subclips to work with. And if I take and I put these on my timeline, I can treat them as two different clips, which is great. So it's a good idea to do this type of workflow if you are working on a project that is really complex. Say you have a take, say you're shooting a documentary, and you have a take that is 15 minutes long of this someone doing some action in which you want to pull B-roll shots out of this one take. Well, you can do that. You can just start make subclips, and it's an easy way to start to organize your footage. So what I'm going to do is real quickly, I'm going to, let's look at this other one. Let's make a subclip here. I think there's only one good take here. And there is, but you know what? I think I want to make my endpoint right there. And I'm going to right click, make a subclip. And there we go. And just for grins, and I know I don't have these named because I didn't do that, why don't we do this? Let's capture this moment between the father and son here. I'm just going to scrub through real quick. Let's see, so I actually shot this. We shot this back in 2017. It was in August. Man, it was hot that day. Really hot. Okay, so I like that, and I'm going to make a subclip, and just for grins, I'm just going to rename this right now. So I'm going to say, Dad, see you looks at son. Okay. So I got that, and it threw me off a little bit because it put it up here, but that's because it is listing these in alphabetical order. And so let's get a shot of the sun. You can see, man, it was bright. We had the sun right in his face just to get his face exposed properly so the car wouldn't be so blown out in comparison to him. But oh, it was hard for him just to look right here and just smile. Okay. So let's put an eye there, and then an O there. Okay, great. And again, make subclip. Sure, why not? Okay, so what I can start to do now is I can take my subclips and I'm going to start to try to craft something here. Okay, let's see, what do I have here? So I know we're going to end on this. Again, I'm just making a little sequence here. I think the dad shot comes next. The son comes after that. Little trick here, if you want to close the gaps, you can click in here, the space between two clips, right click, ripple delete. Ripple delete. Okay, I think these are organized now, and I can just get rid of this little space right here. Okay. So we have Dad's going to put the stuff in there. He's going to close. Okay, so we have some repeated action, no problem. Okay, so I think I see an opportunity to do something here. Okay, so what I'd say is this is a little bit too long, so why don't we start with the sun. And I think I can put in a slight jump cut here. Be surprised at what you can get away with. Let's see if that works. It's a little... I'm not going to worry with it right now, just for demonstration purposes. So he closes the door, looks down, triple delete that. Maybe we can zoom in on our timeline just a bit, trim this clip a little bit, triple delete that. We need to hold on Dad just a little bit longer there. Okay, that's a nice moment. And then let's come over here and delete part of this. So you'll see that I'm actually, there's a type of editing that I'm doing right now, and it's I'm editing for continuity. I say that even though Dad doesn't have the door closed yet. Okay, let's see how this plays. I got a break in continuity here, so let's see. Okay, so let's see. 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 Let Okay, we'll call it good for right now. So once you have your clips all arranged like you like them, and again, we're going to do the entire video. So this will take a while to go through and actually cut together a story that works. But you do have the example video too that you can use as reference. Don't make yours look exactly like the example. You know, come up with your own little unique twist, unique version of it. So once you do that, you're going to export your video. And if you've never done that before, here is how to do it. So you're going to come up here, actually two ways to do it. You can click on this export button right here, or you can go File, Export. They will both send you the same place. And that is this screen right here. So Premiere has done quite a bit to make this as easy as possible on you. And let me just show you a couple of things. You're going to start with the file name. Okay, so I'm going to call this Red Door Pantry Rough Cut. Okay, and then this is where it's going to go. And I really want to keep up my progress here, or my organization. I'll make a Module 3 folder and I'll save it there. So that's where it's going to save it. Now, presets are your friend when it comes to exports. They make life really easy. So we got a high quality 1080p HD. You can use this. I've had really good luck in the past with doing the YouTube 1080p full HD because it is going to YouTube. If you go and just, I wouldn't suggest doing this immediately, but get familiar with these settings over time. So there's all sorts of tweaks that you can make to this. Like say you have a 4K video, but you want to export it as a HD 1920 by 1080. You can do that, and you can do that within these settings. So some of these are way advanced, but we're not going to really get into these. I typically will just look at my audio and video settings. Okay, so I would say one thing. If you do have this use proxies checkbox checked, which I would never check this, but if you do have that checked, it will override your high quality footage and use proxy. So don't check that. Just as a point of safety there. Okay, so now that you got everything set, the range, okay, so this is the in to out, right? So you can also do the work area. You can set a custom, and we're talking about areas of the timeline, okay? So this will show you a preview of what it's going to do, right? If for some reason you only wanted to export part of this, you could take these little areas right here and it would only export that. We don't want that, so I'm going to say entire source, and it will export everything for us. Okay, and you can also get an idea here of the settings that you're using. Just a quick look. So 1920 by 1080, the 1.0, that is your pixel aspect ratio. Believe it or not, there are such things as non-rectangular pixels. 1.0 means that it is a perfect square pixel. So 24 frames per second. Progressive is a display scheme. We have progressive versus interface. I'm sorry, not interface, interlaced. So I'll explain to you what those mean later. Okay, so video output H.264. This is the codec that it will be using. Okay, so again, 1920 by 1080. So this is our source video. This is our output. Progressive, it's going to use hardware encoding, which is fine. A variable bit rate, meaning it'll pick the highest bit rate that it should based on the scene and its compression that it needs to get the highest quality. It's going to go one pass, and it's going to target it at 16 megabits per second. Okay, estimated file size should be around 20 megabytes. I'm happy with all of that, so what I'm going to do is press export. And when I do, it will work its magic. And I get a little message, your video is exported successfully. All right, let's take a look at our video now, shall we? We're going to come in here, we're going to go to Module 3, and this is the video that we just made. Well, for some reason, it did not take everything for me, so I'm glad that happened. So let's go back and let's look at this again. So when I went through and I was showing you how to actually trim down the timeline if you didn't want to export everything, let's take a look and see what happened there. So let's come back here, and I'm going to go export. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually put an endpoint right there and an out point right here. Okay. Source into out, and it should get everything. So that's strange that it did that, but no problem. Let's try that again. All right, so Red Door Food Pantry, what I'm going to do is, just so I'm not going to try to overwrite this file, because sometimes files can become corrupted, I'm just going to do an _1. I'm going to export that now. Okay, and I'm going to go back here and let's take a look at this one. Okay, there's shot 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay, so hope you have enjoyed Module 3, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day.